gentlemen, a wonderful evening to you all. Welcome to an extraordinary experience, the Yeshiva University program launch webinar. I am Harshita, your guide from upGrad Abroad's University Partnerships team. Today, prepare to be dazzled as we unveil the groundbreaking Excel program in media, introducing the STEM acclaimed MS Digital Marketing and Media, nestled in the heart of none other than New York City, within the renowned Yeshiva University. Joining us are luminaries from Yeshiva University. First, we have Jackie Hamilton, a trailblazer as the Executive Director of Enrollment Management and Partnerships at the Katz School of Science and Health. Jackie is bringing over a decade of unparalleled expertise in higher education. Alongside her, we have Joseph Panzarella, a maestro in digital marketing, marketing analytics, and database management, adorned with an MS from Syracuse University. Joseph, a leader in the digital marketing and media program, imparts his wisdom not only at Yeshiva, but also as an adjunct professor at NYU SPS and City University NY. Enter Jade Hakimi, a virtuoso with 13 years of higher education mastery, who now orchestrates graduate recruitment and admissions at Yeshiva. And lastly, meet Ashmit, a dynamic force pursuing MS Digital Marketing at Yeshiva University. Together, they will illuminate the countless benefits and pathways that await you in the realm of MS Digital Marketing and Media. So without further ado, let's get it started.
Thank you so much. And we want to say it is fantastic to be here. We really appreciate everybody taking the time out of your evening to join us today. And so a few quick words about the Katz School. We are tech builders. We are patient-centered clinicians. We're research scientists. This is Yeshiva University school that focuses on science and health, so STEM and health sciences. So we're very proud of our digital marketing and media program, which is at the forefront of tech as we make the world smarter, safer, and healthier. So we wanted to share with you a quick video, and spoiler alert, you might be meeting this person in a little bit.
I'm from Nepal, land of Himalayas. My families are all over the place. They're in California, they're in Oklahoma, they're in Nebraska. And I had a dream to come to New York, and I'm here. I'm Austin Bosgai. I studied at Katz Schools of Science and Health. I choose to be here because I want to have that experience, the city experience. There's a lot of energy happening around you, and you have to get focused. So one of my favorite part of the New York City is coming to the New York Public Library. Best part of it is like it has a different atmosphere that helps me get focused on my studies. I'm a marketing student, so I have to be creative. I have to be innovative. You get inspired while you're looking up, and coming here inspires me. This is the place that I come here. This is the place where I have my mindset and I have my concentration and get my tasks done. I've achieved like highest grades working here, so this is the place to work. Coming to New York City has been the best decision of my life. This is the place if you have a dream and you can totally achieve it, so you can do it. You can also do it.
Amazing, and this is
I'm from Nepal.
This is as meet a current student who I've had the pleasure of getting to know better in recent days, and we're looking forward to you meeting him later. And so, you know, one great thing that you kind of notice in the video is that, you know, as Asmit is talking about his experience, you know, in the program, the backdrop is New York City. You know, it's a bustling city, you know, maybe not as bustling as some of the cities in India. I know from my own experience visiting as well, but certainly the center of, you know, the economy in the United States and, you know, even the global economy. So what's nice about us as the Katz School that I really, really love and have grown to love over about almost 6 years here with the school is that it's very much kind of a community feel. You know, we tend to have smaller class sizes. Our students really get to know each other. They get to know the faculty. They get to know the administration and the leadership of the school. And so this is a huge positive, you know, when you're looking at taking time out of your life to focus on the next steps for your academics and your career. We're really a wonderful place to do that. And of course, right in the heart of New York City with our coursework all taking place in Manhattan. And so for the digital marketing and media program, your coursework is all in Midtown Manhattan, 8-minute walk from the Empire State Building, and very commutable around the greater New York City area. And so the Katz experience is truly lovely. You know, we have students who come from across the world to study with us, certainly including India, and of course also from across the United States. And so you'll hear from our program director, Joseph Panzarella, but he'll talk to you as well about some of the faculty and just how much they've accomplished in industry and are every day. We do have evening coursework, so that does allow you to have an opportunity to learn from scholar practitioners amongst the faculty who may be leaders in the industry by day and instructing you by night. It also helps us get amazing guest speakers to come and visit the program, and also allows you to meet, you know, other students, domestic students from the US who are in industry. So I think it does help to contribute to the diversity of the program, the way that it's set up. One thing that's really great about this and helpful for career prospects, which we'll discuss shortly too, is that the coursework is project-based. So you really get a lot of experience while you're in the program. And if you end up applying to the program and getting accepted to spring 2024, we have the STEM Fellows program, which gives you industry mentorship and allows you to showcase and publish your capstone at our annual conference. So of course, we have an incredible employment rate. You know, 95% of our graduates will find a position within 6 months of graduation. These are all companies that have hired our graduates. And of course, we have some job listings as well on this page. But what's really great about our program is you combine a few things. I'm sure many of you have done research on our university. You've probably found that in many of the rankings, we're in the top 100 or number 63 in the US or number 67 in the US. But very importantly, we tend to be number 3 in New York City. So you have the academic quality of a university of our caliber, but then the professional relevance based on the way our programs are built. And so being right in the heart of Manhattan, being right in the heart of digital marketing and media industry, you have a real opportunity to make the connections that are going to help you be successful in the future. So of course, we're proud of this statistic, but we're mostly very proud of what our current students and our alumni have been able to accomplish. And so the digital marketing and media is one of several STEM programs at our university. Please note you have a 36-month OPT opportunity based on the current guidelines and regulations of the US State Department. So you have your 1 year of OPT, optional practical training. So if you find a job in this field after you graduate, you have 12 months of OPT, and you have a 24-month extension on top of that because our digital marketing and media program is STEM approved. So, and it's very much one of those sectors that really are making a difference, not only in the economy in New York City and the United States, but globally. So please note the OPT opportunity. And then of course, we have our student services. So we have our Office of International Services that you would certainly be in touch with in advance of joining. And as a current student, should you have relevant questions too. We have offices of student life and also academic operations. We have a robust Graduate Students Association. We have a very active Indian Students Association as well. And then we have other services on campus that are super helpful and important. So on the one hand, you have a great opportunity just to network and learn through faculty who are embedded in industry, which is incredible. And then also you have the other tools on campus like our Career Center that can help you with your resume or mock interviews or help you to build a networking plan as well as you make plans to move forward. So please note all of these services. But I think at the end of the day, the main thing to have in mind is that it very much is kind of a community atmosphere, and we really care deeply about each individual student. And so we hope we have the chance of welcoming applications from you, and hopefully some of you will have the chance to join us soon. So without further ado, I want to give a quick intro of my own for Professor Panzarella, Program Director of Digital Marketing and Media. Not only is he very accomplished in the field, he's just an all-around great guy. Love talking to him, has wonderful vibes, just a huge positive every day coming in and working with him. So Joe, take it away.
Thanks, Jared. I appreciate that. And you will be getting the check in the mail pretty soon for that nice ovation. Thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome, everyone.
That's why I mentioned that. So thank you.
Welcome, everyone. So my name is Joseph Panzarella, rhymes with Cinderella. So now you'll never forget it ever again. There's my background and there's my information. And that is my photo of when I become the president of the United States. That's the photo they're going to use of me eventually. So next slide, Jared. Yes. Okay. So as Jared mentioned, with digital masters in digital marketing media, students are required to take 10 classes, 10. 6 of those classes are required. And then we have 4 classes that you can take in a couple of specialties, but it's not exclusive. So if you want to take more marketing analytics courses, which are more like statistics and mathematical in nature, fine. If you want to take more digital social strategies, we have digital storytelling, user experience classes, you could take some of those. You could do a mix and match, 2 and 2, 3 and 1. It's not exclusive. You don't have to go down one track or the other. Everyone does take the core classes. In addition, as Jared mentioned, if you really have an itch and you want to take, let's say, a class in AI or a class in cybersecurity or something outside our program, you are allowed to do that. I will say this, though, that it's a little bit of a higher leap for some of our students because there are prerequisites to some of those courses. They assume you have a little computer science background. So I actually get a lot of those students taking our classes because they want to do something more creative besides just doing linear equations. So come our way is easier. The other way is a little more challenging, but if that's something you want to pursue, I could certainly help students with that. Next. This is what a typical life cycle is with our program. Students start off with 3. I'll get into the reasons why 3 is very important in a minute, but generally 3 classes a semester, and you are graduating within about 4 semesters of your time. And again, we recommend students take some of the core classes early on. I think Asmit did some of that, and then start taking some of the electives a little bit later on into your experience. A little later on, that elective could include an internship. It's not required, but that's something you can do, and you can potentially make some money on that. There are some possible GA roles on campus, though again, not for credit, but there's some possible GA roles. But anyway, I would just suggest focus on those core classes, and as you get deeper into the program, you start meeting more people, et cetera, then start doing your electives. And that is one other point I do want to make. In our program, you'll be interacting and working and being with lots of students in AI and cybersecurity and DAV, digital analytics and visualization, and they become then your personal network. So maybe perhaps you may not be able to get a job at Apple, but they can, and all of a sudden now you have a network with them. So our program really brings these hot disciplines together. And if that may not be your core, you don't want to be a programmer all day, you want to be a marketer or an analyst, but you have a network now to build upon to reach out to others that are in those areas. Okay, next. Yep. This is just for the digital. That's fine. Okay, so this is a part I think is important. And Jackie, stop me if I'm going too deep on this. I apologize. But in terms of the OPT, this is after you graduate. When you graduate, you get, as Jared dutifully detailed, 12 months and then a 24-month extension. If the job is STEM related, that means you could work for a fashion company as long as you're doing marketing analytics. You can work for a spirits company as long as you're doing marketing analytics. The company does not necessarily have to be STEM, but the role in the job has to be STEM. Okay. So students have to come in as an international student. You're required to take 3 classes. That's full time. They are all in person and on campus. So this is the typical timeline. So let's say you're coming in, let's just say you pretend you're coming in the fall. We'll just make this up and then we'll make it to spring real quick for most of you. You take 3 classes, you take 3 classes in the spring. You want to relax for the summertime, don't take any classes, no problem. Summer is not required to take classes. You're still under Yeshiva sponsorship. You then take 3 in the fall and then 1 more in the spring, because your very last semester can be less than full time. You only have 1 or 2 classes left. We're not going to force you to take more classes, right? You only take the 10. OPT, which is sponsorship by Yeshiva once you graduate, starts within 60 days of graduation. So if you graduate in May of 2025, your OPT starts, sometime around, let's just make it easy, July of 2025. And then you get the 3 years after that. Okay. If you want to graduate early in the program, and you can do that, instead of taking 3, you take 4 classes in the fall and then 3, whatever. You will then be graduating in December of 2024, and your OPT starts then. So a lot of students, what they're trying to do now is they're just stretching it out to give them the most time as a student and then the most time under OPT afterwards. So in this particular case, like Asmit joined in the fall of 2022, Asmit could potentially be under a yeshiva sponsorship until spring of 2027. That's a long time to not have to worry about an employer sponsoring you, et cetera, et cetera. And because our program is marketing and analytics, we still fall under the STEM designation. Other colleges, marketing and data, especially marketing and media, only is a 1-year OPT. So we give you that 3-year. That's a lot better conversation. You have an employer they said, do you need sponsorship? I really don't for another 3 years. And 3 years, a lot can happen. COVID happened 3 years ago. So things can happen, things can change. So this is a little bit of a strategy. If you want to graduate earlier, fine. I will say taking more than 3 courses is a lot of work. There's outside classroom, meeting with other students, group projects, etc. You want to be part of clubs. So you really, and plus you're getting new to New York for the first time and housing and all that. I would say take it slow, take 3 classes. You can always take 4 classes later on, but this is kind of the typical way I go about it in order to maximize your visa coverage under yeshiva. Jackie, did I miss anything there? Anything you want to add?
You missed nothing. That's perfect.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you a couple of things, Joe.
Maybe you wait for it and it's done.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
super good to host you guys. It's always a treat to meet your team. Joe, so I wanted you to come back to the last slide, please. The one that we were playing just before this one.
Yep.
And I'd let you and Jackie answer this. Look, so with upGrad and Micah, the base school with which we're starting the students' journey with, marketing is a new frontier that we're foraying into. And I realized, like you were mentioning, that with a good blend of analytics, it's not just a very mundane marketing course, but has a lot more to it, which is why it's a STEM course. I wanted you to let everyone know here that if there was someone like myself who doesn't typically come from a marketing background, but has a technological bent of mind, how is this course equivalent to an MS Business Analytics? Or if not that, then how is it going to still make me very relevant in terms of the job market in America? And once you answer this part, I also want you to speak about a little bit about the media and marketing landscape in New York City, and why is this one of the biggest hotspots in the world to be doing this course and graduating? So these 2 things is what I really want to know, Joe.
Okay. So in terms of your first question, so the courses in red, those are our foundational courses. They focus on consumer insight, consumer decision-making, choices that's based on data, based on research. So when we say media, we don't mean like film and television, stuff like that, that production-wise. We mean consumption by consumers, what makes them make decisions. And these courses are designed to understand how the consumer mind works, what influences they have. And so a lot of data and analytics is used in those courses to understand different target audience, different niche audiences, et cetera, like that. Additionally, several of these courses, and Asmit can tell you about that, communications, consumer research methods there, and another one we have digital storytelling. They integrate with something called the Innovations Lab at Yeshiva. What is the Innovations Lab? The Innovation Lab is an incubator of startups from Israel, mostly Israeli companies that have just maybe recently got venture funding. And our students work hand in hand with those companies because for a semester or a semester and a half, our students are the marketing department, the research department, and the insights department for those companies. So this goes beyond just the real world experience. You're actually giving real world advice to the CEO of these new startups. For example, one startup is a company that just designed a bra. Again, we're all adults here, but it's a bra for women that just went through breast cancer. Apparently, the bras that are on the shelf for those kinds of conditions are not comfortable. Okay, that's currently in the market. The new one that's coming out is they're supposed to be using data and science and analysis to make the product bespoke to the woman's body. Each woman is different. Every person is different, right? And so we are part of that company's insights, research, analysis team, and giving the CEO ideas and strategies. Because right now that CEO has been worried about Series A funding, Series B funding, venture capitalists, and just building up their company with the product. And they have no idea about how to position themselves. So that's another difference from the real world perspective that you were asking. Finally, in terms of why New York City and in the media and stuff like that, well, New York City has been the hotbed for massive, TV, print, radio for decades, almost a century, right? And what's here are all the advertising agencies, all the creative agencies, and the deal making to create different kind of contracts. When Apple does a deal with some organization, they come to New York City to make those deals because that's where all the movers and shakers are. So New York has that ability to put those kinds of, I'll just say, deals together. And from that, there's a lot of collateral organizations that support that kind of fusion of information and talent. Netflix, when they have an idea and they want to do a deal with an organization, those deals are probably done somewhere in New York City because that's where they bring all the partners and things together like that. So it's a shining hill on the mountaintop for that industry, which supports all the other collateral data support needs that it requires.
Super. I would just take a quick second to let everyone who's just joined us know that we're here with Yeshiva University's marketing school. Essentially, this course falls under the Katz School of Science and Health, but we're with the marketing faculty per se. And we're launching the MS Digital Marketing and Media, which is a STEM designated course at Yeshiva. upGrad Abroad, as you may already be aware, helps students in India pursue higher ed in a more equitable, democratized, and affordable fashion, which is why we're helping you guys start this course in India with a base grad cert from MICA, Ahmedabad, one of the best and the most sought after schools in marketing. Doing or pursuing a certificate from MICA for 7.5 months gets you 2 courses of waiver at Yeshiva, and then you finally pursue the digital marketing and media Masters of Science at Yeshiva. Joe, who's here with us, leads the faculty for DMM at Yeshiva, and we're super open for you guys to ask us any question at all. We've got the Q&A bar below at the bottommost panel of your Zoom app. Please feel free to ask anything about your eligibility for this course, scholarships, what all is the coursework like, how many experiential interventions will you have. And meanwhile, I'm going to ask a lot of things to Joe on your behalf. Joe, so the next thing which I really want to know about is, how do you encourage a student to pick the right track, whether it's the strategies track or the analytics track?
Yeah, it's actually a very simple question, because again, it's not, you can do a mixture of both. You can do 2 and 2, you could sample. You don't have to do 4-0, 4-0. You could do 3-1, 1-3 in terms of classes. But generally I ask the student, like someone like Katz Smith, I might say to you, where are you comfortable? Are you a little more creative when it comes to analysis? Are you a little more mathematical when it comes to analysis? And then there are different types of shades of people that have that. And depending on his answer, he might say he's more mathematical. I would then steer him towards like the analytical courses, predictive analytics, the web analytics and SEO. And if Katz Smith said, I like data, but I don't sleep, I don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. I'm a little more creative then I might steer him towards like a digital storytelling or the web design user experience. So it really depends on the person. All types of people can succeed in all of our courses. It's not like it's not a binary thing, but I do have those conversations with students when they ask that question on where can they be going. I kind of see where their interests lie. And that too also would apply to an internship that they're going for, because internships are all different. Is the internship more creatively focused? Is it more data statistically focused? And that shapes that one as well.
Right. Joe, how does the internship part differ from the capstone? So if I'm not wrong, and if I heard you right, internship lasts for a term, right? That's essentially going to be 4 months. Yes?
Yes. Yeah, so an
And
internship is you work with a company. Typically students find those internships on their own. Most of those internships pay, some don't. I will say the reason why some internships don't pay and why students take them is because it might be a brand or an industry like fashion that they just really want to get the experience, and then they do that. So that's a choice, but we do prefer students get paid, obviously, for an internship. There's limitations, 20 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. We can give you all the links and all the details on that, and that's a fun conversation that we can have. But that differs from the capstone, which is also one term, but you're working with companies, but you're working as a group, and you're sort of like working with those companies throughout the whole semester. So similar to like the innovation lab, but it's a little more deeper in the company you're working for. And the company may not be a startup, it might be a more established company. But the internship is your job. The capstone is still kind of a course.
got that. And based on either track that these students choose, Joe, what are some of the job progressions that you see, or how is it? I mean, can you help us draw a fair amount of contrast on which sort of jobs will I land in if I pick one of the second track?
Stop on that one. I'll go backwards, Jared, to that big red one. Not there. Previous one. There you go. All right. So this is a picture tells 1,000 words. Nope. One with the Disney on it. Sorry. There you go. Picture tells 1,000 words. So these are some of the organizations our students, our recent graduates have gone into. So on purpose, I put the ones you know at the top and some of the companies you don't know so well at the bottom. Well, these companies are in all different verticals and all different industries. And I'll get to your progression question in a second. But our students can get jobs in just about any industry, any vertical, because what we're producing in terms of skills and talent is still needed in the industry. So typically, again, it depends on the organization you're working for. It's a very big organization like the Walt Disney Company. I'm not saying everyone's going to get a job there. I'm just giving it as an example because one of our students are there. It will be, an associate position, starting off, working with like maybe a team on data tracking or creative assets that need to be managed. It's typically going to be a lower level function just to get you sort of going with that organization. Because a company like Disney has a very specific branding guidelines. It takes a while for people to move up the ranks. They want to make sure you understand how they represent themselves to the world. Whereas another company, let's say the National Grid, which is an energy company, they might only have like 2 or 3 people in their marketing department because it's a utility. They get paid. That company makes money every month, no matter what. They're just trying to have a better image of themselves. It might be a very small marketing department, and you might be the lead social media manager for that organization. All right. So it really does depend on the organization you go to. If it's a very large organization, you're going to be sort of a cog in the wheel. And it's a very small organization based on the skills that we're providing you here. You might be like number 2 or number 3 in that unit because that represents the organization. But that marketing division doesn't necessarily drive the revenues every single day. For example, like Disney, if they stopped advertising, they'd lose money. National Grid, which is a utility, if they stopped advertising, they're not going to lose that much money because everyone, it's a monopoly. Everyone has to pay them. That help?
Yes, Joe. Finally, I am very aware of the fact that your school is one of the best faculty anyone can ever imagine for marketing. I'd love for you to introduce your team per se, and what are some of the brands they've worked for and with.
Great. So we have our faculty members are here, and we have all the LinkedIn profiles. You could certainly click on them. But in terms of highlighting some of them, so Asif Hockman down at the bottom there, he used to work at Facebook. He used to work at TikTok. He's now working in an organization called The Zone, which is another online streaming service. He has his finger on the pulse of what's happening with consumers all the time. And he leads our capstone project, and students really love working with him because he actually, I think when he was working at Facebook, he actually used to give the students Facebook money, Facebook bucks, and they would do like little mini marketing campaigns and to test like A/B testing and stuff like that. So he's there. Tom Kennan, sort of on the bottom there, second to left there. He teaches a couple of courses in our program. He's written a book in ethics. Osman, I'm sure, has had to buy it for one of his classes. And he also works serial entrepreneur, that kind of lifestyle, worked in advertising, but he also works very closely with the Innovation Lab. And in fact, this year, we're doing a new course out of the Innovation Lab. Instead of working with Israeli startups, he designed a program, and some students are now taking it, in which the companies are local businesses in New York City, like a school, like a coffee shop, like a museum, and do marketing analysis for a company that's very small, but gives back to the community. So we're really excited about that going forward. So Tom's brought that to the table. Josh Moritz, also serial entrepreneur, has been in the CRM space for many, many years. He's worked at a lot of advertising agencies, as well as been in higher ed for a number of seasons. So he brings that to the table. Pat Berry is a healthcare specialist. She teaches brand management. So she works at an agency called Harrison and Starr, which targets physicians, consumers, and over-the-counter medications to those target audiences. And she brings that brand research philosophy to the classroom. And finally, just one more, Bill Weedo, who is he was a journalist for a massive newspaper here in the United States called the Philadelphia Inquirer. So he brings that mass media perspective to the classroom and how to shape it for the digital social world, where consumers have endless choices and are not going to be willing to read an article of 3,000 words. They might read an article or something for about 30 words. And if you don't get them right away, they're going to lose you. So he understands how to reshape that. Again, you can look at all our LinkedIn profiles and see all the degrees we have and the different companies we have worked for.
There was one more thing which I really wanted to pick on and ask you. With Gen AI and a lot of marketing efforts or activities being automated by Gen AI, with a lot of content being pre-written, so much happening and changing with Gen AI, how do you see the role of a marketer changing? And how do you see that the curriculum that you have is actually making these students academically ready? Because I've seen a lot of portion of what you have is very tech infused. So how are these two really playing along?
Yeah, so one thing with generative AI that's actually interesting is that colleges and administration people like Jared were the first people to have their jobs being impacted by generative AI, because they were getting all these essays from potential students that they didn't know if they were writing them or not. And these were like, high school or college students. So the universities already have had that experience before the general public even had. Jared knew about ChatGPT before anybody else. But in terms of our program, all of our teachers are very cognizant of what's happening with generative AI. What I think is happening and what's going to happen going forward is the role of marketing will change, because now you will have more choices to choose from. Okay, so in other words, let's say you're working on a social media team and, we took like 3 or 4 pictures of Asmit and, we had 3 or 4 posts. Now we could take 3 or 4 pictures of Asmit and have 500 different posts. The marketer, because the generative AI could change his clothing, can change his background, positioning, etc., can change the content, and no one has to really write it. But the marketer, though, has to sift through and go through all those different permutations and come up with the right solutions to still put to the face to the public. Just because you can generate 500 unique images of Asmit, our student here, doesn't mean we're going to use all 500 images. We still might only use 2 or 3. So I think as a marketer, it's going to give you more choices, but then you have to have a more critical eye as to which of those choices are going to fit best for the image and the message you want to put out there. In terms of how it's going to affect jobs, it'll affect jobs in that you'll need less copywriters potentially. Instead of having a copywriting team of 10, you might need only 2. It might affect, from a social media standpoint, you may only need like 2 or 3 people working on an account because they have all these choices to put through. So it's going to affect the back end from that perspective. But I think the position that we've put our program is that we think about the consumer first, not necessarily the technology first. We think about the consumer and where the consumer is heading, and then we determine what's the right technology to appeal to them. And I think that's why our students are in great position to use generative AI as a positivity for their career, not something that's going to threaten them in any way.
Absolutely. And I think the rigorous coursework that's very tech infused at both Micah and Yeshiva is exactly making them or helping them ease into the kind of um marketing tech environment that they're going to step into in about 2 or 3 years, or maybe sooner than that. With that, we've got a few questions, Joe. Um, Someone's asking the scholarship eligibility and requirements. So essentially, all upgrad students have a flat price at Yeshiva, which is much lower than their actual price. You're pursuing the course at 23K USD when you're moving to the Yeshiva campus. But I'd let Joe talk more about the criteria per se. Whenever he uses the term 3 GPA, or 3 GPA or 3.2 GPA, essentially translates to an Indian per percentage, and I will of course speak about that. But we'll let Joe cover the typical requirements first.
Okay, I'll spend a second on that. Maybe I'll toss it to Jared and Jackie a little bit more. But in terms of requirements coming in, so we take students with a variety of backgrounds. We don't have like computer science prerequisites. We don't even ask you have necessary marketing degrees as undergrad. Because a lot of our students use our degree in grad school as a career changer. For example, we get students who are psychology majors undergrad, and they realize, maybe I don't want to analyze people for 20 years before I start making money as a psychologist, right? So instead, I'm going to go into digital marketing right away and start making money now. So we have a wide array of different careers that come into our program. And as such, we don't have prerequisites or sequencing of courses. The only sequence we require is that you take the capstone at the end. So we're very, very wide in that. Now, that being said, I have rejected students that if I look at their transcript or their CV and it's all programming, you know, we're not going to be the career for you, because you need to be more active and go into some other program. So there are situations which I do reject students based on that alone. But for the most part, and we're talking like 9 out of 10, or actually 99 out of 100, as long as you pass the requirements, I'll turn over to Jared in a second, we pretty much do accept you into our program.
So regarding the application process, at the time of application, you would need to provide unofficial or official transcripts, your personal statement, your resume or CV, your degree conferral certificate, and any of these 4 English proficiency exams. And then just with some, you know, with some specific requirements, like for example, no at-home tests for TOEFL, etc. And then as long as you have all these documents in, you can have your application reviewed. And we also have a fee waiver code available to you. It's YU fee waiver is the code. And you can apply, you can apply on our website.
Yeah, so if I may add to what Joe and Jerry said, right? And when we review an application, we really take a very holistic approach. We're looking at all these checklist documents you have submitted. As Joe said, we're looking at your background, and also we are looking at your passion and your understanding of the program you are going to pursue. How the program you are going to pursue is in line with your future career goal. So that passion is very important. How that passion is reflected, how do we identify that? That's through your personal statement, right? And your resume is also very important, because that reflects what you have done and what skills you have and what your aspirations are.
Thanks, Jackie. That makes absolute sense. Of course, I think one of the interesting parts about the criteria in general for the upGrad Abroad partnership with Yeshiva's MSDMM is that we let you build a base. For some of you who do not come from a marketing background per se, you've got a 7.5-month intensive, rigorous coursework in digital marketing and communication to build or hone that skill set inside you, that capability inside you before you transfer to Yeshiva, so you can academically succeed. And also, I think, like Jackie was mentioning, build a higher readiness, build a higher intention, build a better skill set to compete in the US market per se. If I to translate all of this to an Indian, foreign Indian student, we would expect you to have 65 to 70% in your undergrad, have a little less than or south of about 6 backlogs, not more than that. And you should have at least a 3-year degree from a NAC A or higher institute, which should, our most ideal student would be someone who studied marketing or has been having, a marketing job or has decent marketing experience per se. But even if you don't, we have a course that trains you for it that everyone goes to anyway, just to make sure that you save almost one full term, because you're taking about 2 courses waived off. So essentially you do 2 terms of coursework, then you take an internship, and then finally you do a capstone. With that, I can take the next question for the panelists. Jackie, I think you can take this better. What are the class timings at Yeshiva?
Actually, I think Professor Joseph will be the best person to address that question. And I can give you a general answer, right? Most of the courses are scheduled in the early evening of Monday through Thursday. And that gives students the opportunity to combine, if students are doing their internships, they can do their internships during regular business hours and taking courses in the late afternoon, early evenings. Joe, do you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, no, so that's 5:30, 7:45 are our class time slots, Monday through Thursday. And in addition to potential internship during the day, we are starting to do this fall, we're starting a research methods seminar that'll be during the day, 2 sessions, 9 o'clock, 9:30 and 1 o'clock, in which students will be on campus during the day. It's going to be mandatory for incoming cohorts. So there'll be some opportunity during the daytime as well to interact with students. And that seminar is not just for marketing students, it's for AI, cyber, etc. So there's also an opportunity to network with the rest of the student body.
Thanks, Joe. For those of you who've just joined us, thank you for being here with us. We're talking to Yeshiva's team, their marketing faculty. We're talking about a course called the Master Science in Digital Marketing and Media, which is a STEM course in America and promises a good, thriving career in digital marketing, media, communication, and web and marketing analytics. I'd want to refer to Joe, because Joe, we've got a question for you. How does this course relate to analytics per se? What are some of the tools that we use or learn to use? And I think a plus one to that would be, how does this make me a more efficient marketer for the future?
Okay, so in terms of like technology tools that you use, so students do get exposure to Google Analytics. Students get exposed to web type, SEO type tools. But oftentimes in many of our classes, they were also exposed to more techniques. For example, perceptual mapping, a SWOT analysis, strategic weakness, opportunity, threat analysis, go-to-market strategy, planning. And those techniques, once you master those, make you more efficient when you start to execute with tools, right? So the tool, like if I gave anyone here a free license to Salesforce software CRM, there is, I don't know, 5,000 things you can do with Salesforce CRM, and you wouldn't be very, very efficient. But if I show you how to do segmentation, I show you do like an RFM score, or how to do a linear model to reduce waste and those kinds of things. All of a sudden now, when you go into a Salesforce or Google Analytics, you're more efficient at using those tools to achieve your outcome. It's great that you have 5,000 choices, but your boss and employer, while they like that you may know those things, they still want you to execute and do things quickly so you can get things out into the marketplace. No one's going to give you a year at a time to learn all the different bells and whistles of a software product. They're not going to wait. You have to sort of demonstrate value immediately. So we do a lot of techniques and analysis tools, put air quotes around that. And we do some specific tools, but that's not the main focus of our program. You will learn Excel very, very well. I will say that. you'll come out knowing Excel like you've never learned any other thing before.
Yeah, I would say our program, this is how unique our program is. It's a perfect combination of creativity, arts, and the quantitative analytics. So, I think we have Asmit, who is a current student, has been with us for a year, and let's hear from him about his experience, about the class, the courses, and living in the big city, New York. I think a lot of students will resonate with him.
Hello and very good evening to my Indian friends. I am Ashmit. I am from Nepal. So I'm here pushing my digital marketing and media degree, and I have taken until now 18 credits. That's like 2 semesters to break down. So this course resonates me personally because it had like STEAM. STEAM has an opportunity to give me like 3 years more, and it is like GMAT and GRE web. Please note that, because like you don't get the MS degree with this kind of expertise, this kind of landmarks anywhere else. And this is New York, and this is the land of opportunities. And to talk about myself, the course experience so far, I've taken like courses like web analytics and SEO. So it's kind of a mix. Predictive analytics, CRM, brand management. So what we have captured is like it's all project-based courses. For example, you'll give an assignment, you'll be created in a group, and you'll have industry related kind of projects. For example, we were doing simulations with like SBS course packs, where they were given us products, and we would given a budget, and we'll break down and how much we'll invest on research and development, how much on the brand, how much on the marketing, and what kind of profits, those kind of strategies. Well, and we were competing within the groups. And as Professor Joe was mentioning, we were also consulting in our one of the course in research methodology, the startups from the Israel. They were the seed funded, and we were trying to position them in the market. We were working with not only our related field, but also in the health tech. So we are all over the places. So that was kind of the experience that we have. And apart from that, New York City is a very fun city to live, because as a student, we have a very accessible point, because the public transportation is very easy here. And there are 5 boroughs that you can live around. So Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, these are the places, and Brooklyn, and many happening city, everything, like there is something happening, some kind of events happening, some kind of musical festival happening, some kind of tech conference happening. So this kind of experience also you'll gain through this course. And so I think we are very excited to host you, and we can't wait to see you here at Yeshiva.
Yeah, thank you, Asmit. I think, coming to a graduate school in the US, it's not only you're learning, and not only advancing your academic career, right? And this is also the formation time, and maybe transformational for your career, right? So being where you are, being in the right setting, with the right faculty, taking the right course, associating, socializing with the right group of people that shape your career, shape your future, right? So that's why this is I would say, everybody, when people look for a school, and this is where they are making their dreams come true. So, and it's a very important decision.
Absolutely. I think I'm with you on this. I think sometimes it's a leap of faith that each of you will take, but it's absolutely worth it. You just met and spoke to someone who's doing the same course. And I think there's no market larger than America for this kind of a course and skill set. I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so there is no market larger and bigger than America for this sort of a skill set, especially New York City, which is home to 53 Fortune 500 companies. Makes a lot of sense. We just got one more question, Jackie. I think the question that we almost kept was that if GRE or GMAT is required for it, and I'll let you take that, Jackie.
Okay, I think Asmit mentioned that briefly, right? GRE and GMAT are not required for the program. So the only standardized test you need to take is an English proficiency test. Can be TOEFL, but not the home edition. Can be IELTS, can be PTE, can be Duolingo. Any of those will do. And also I noticed there are some students on the call, they are from English-speaking countries, such as Nigeria or Ghana. For if you are from those countries, you don't need to take an English test. Okay.
Thanks, Jackie. I think we're almost done here. You've been able to answer most of this, and I think the only thing that we'd love for you guys to finally do is leave a message for some of our prospects here on, while this course is super emerging and is not something that is very conventional. It's on machine learning, DS, BA, or typical management course that's different. All I want to do is maybe let you and Joe talk about the relevance of this course once again, and how is it that someone with marketing aspirations or tech aspirations or applied DS goal can actually pursue this despite the fact that they may not have prior experience in marketing. How is this a promising course that, you know how we talk about AI or machine learning, that, hey, you know what, if you bet on this and you do it, we're 100% sure that you will be successful. So how do you see that with this lens, that if a student had to pick this, what guarantees them success?
So, I mean, I'll answer that a couple ways. So number one, as I said earlier, students are finding roles in all types of verticals, from tech through sports. So there's no, we don't pigeonhole you to, like, if you do AI, you're going to be in a tech-oriented type of organization, right? Because, you know, if you can go to a small company and do AI, but you might be the only person on staff doing AI, and that's not how great programming works, right? Great programming works when you interact with a team, share ideas, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, in San Francisco, which was considered one of the cities that had trouble after COVID because so many people left, et cetera, the city is coming back because of AI. Why? Because programmers that left, they went to Idaho, Colorado, cities and towns you probably never heard of. They realized they were the only person in their neighborhood doing coding, and they weren't learning enough. And now they're moving back to San Francisco, in which they're having these house parties after work and doing like programming boot camps and stuff like that. So that kind of a career does sort of pigeonhole you to a specific vertical and specific area, where ours does not. You have a wide range, wide platform to work with. I think though the person that, and again, there's also new career paths emerging all the time. You know, we didn't have COVID marketing specialists. We do, maybe they'll go away. We didn't have, you know, AI marketing specialists. Those are going to become more prominent. But I think the one key thing is this, and Jared, go back to that previous slide you had up there with the A to Z. Yeah. Is that when you get hired by an organization, they're expecting you to come to the table with answers to their questions. Who's our target audience? How can we make more money? What are some new white spaces or opportunities that we need to get into? They're expecting you to have those kind of answers based on your research, knowledge, etc. And if you are not a person that wants to be visible, that wants to be in front of the room and have that kind of, again, when you're 22, 23, not everybody has that, but as you get a little older, that kind of emerges. If that's not you, then you may not do well in this type of career. So that is the 100% guarantee of not doing well. You asked for 100%, is to being quiet and not talking to anybody. That's a guarantee. If you are willing to be more visible, take in others' opinion, work with a wide variety, eclectic type of backgrounds, creative people, media people, accounting people, whatever, and put together and synthesize an idea and a solution for an organization, because you are the one of the few people in that organization that has the consumer at the center of their mind, right? Accounting people don't think about the consumer. Operations people don't necessarily think about the consumer, but marketing people think about the consumer. So and that is the lifeblood of the revenue. So if you have that mindset of being visible, the consumer is always the forefront. Like for me, I'm always thinking about people like Smith. What is he experiencing at our school Because if he doesn't have a good experience, guess what? He just tells 4 other people, don't come here. And that is the worst type of marketing channel you can ever develop as a human being that has a negative opinion about you. So just to get back to your 100% answer, you want to be quiet in the corner, this is not your career. You want to be visible, work on a team, and provide solutions to organizations. And the last thing I'll say about this is when an organization hires you, you are accelerating their knowledge base in the marketplace because you have learned about AI, you have learned about cyber, you've learned about these things. While they have people on their marketing staff that might be 10, 12 years deep, they don't know anything about that stuff. And they're going to be unrelevant in a very short period of time. You're making that organization relevant, and that's why they rely on you. And so that is going to be one of the reasons for success. Nothing's 100% guaranteed. Even in statistics, it's 95% confidence level. So nothing's 100%. But I do think based on this program and based on the ability to understand that the consumer is in the center and how do I support that person, that will lead towards success.
Thank you so much. I'm very thankful to you. I think you said something that really touched the fact that nobody in operations, finance, or anyone else is actually thinking about the consumer per se. And then there's one function that's doing it, everything, but the revenue for the entire organizational setup is based on that function alone. If there's no visibility, there's no brand, there's no pull or push, there's not gonna be much that'll happen. Sorry, there's some music in the background. I'll just change my location. Meanwhile, we've got a question, Joe. I'm a commerce graduate degree from Mumbai with second class and have 10 years of experience in SEO. I want to pursue MS in DM. Jackie, I think this is more for you. If there's someone who has 10 years of experience, or let's say more than 5 or 6, would you forego the fact that you need a 3 GPA, or would that very much be in place?
Well, I think if you have a 10-year experience in the industry, you have a lot to bring to the class. So we look at your GPA from 10 years ago, but your working experience carries a lot more weight than your dated transcript.
So which means we can enroll students with 5 years, but more backlog, Jackie?
Well, we look at it, yes, that's very possible. Yes.
Got it. Right. So Rajesh, I think you've got answer from Jackie. Jackie would love to see you apply for this course, and so would Joe, especially because you've got 10 years experience in SEO. Search engine optimization and search engine marketing are 2 big pillars of what this course.
And can I say one thing on search? The old way of doing search engine optimization, and I mean the old way, like 6 months ago, that is changing. AI is changing the way search is being done, because search was let me ask a question, I refine it, I ask another question, I refine it, I ask another question, I refine it. Now with AI, within Microsoft Word, there'll be a button called Copilot. You can ask Copilot your question, and it gives you back the answer. No more searching, going back and forth. That's why Google's so scared to death of AI. So 10 years of search is unfortunately dated now, because now you have to know how to use AI in search.
Absolutely, Joe, I get that. That is 100% true. I think world without analytics or Gen AI or AI in general, or the use of analytics or more of these emerging technologies in marketing or any other function for that matter is inevitable. You can't stop it. You have to learn and blend with it. And that's what the course is promising per se. We've got one more question. Can you tell me if this program is STEM? 100% yes. The cost per year for upgrad students is $23,000 United States dollars. I hope I answered you there. We've got one more thing. I'm doing freelancing for Canada-based realtors, web design. Yeah, I think you should be a good fit. You may want to apply. So you need to go to upgradabroad.com. Just give me 1 second. I'll put the link for the program down in the chat box. You can apply. And I think that should be it. We've pretty much covered everything, Joseph and our very favorite Jackie. Both have been super helpful, and Jared and Ashmit, thank you for coming. Thank you for introducing the school and course. Is there anything else that you guys would like to speak about before we end this?
I think the last thing we want to say is we want to thank you for organizing this, to bring these students and us together. And here are the contact information. So we want to continue this conversation in between upGrad students and us, and anything along the way, if we can help you, feel free to reach out to us. And hopefully we will see you in January. A few months away, and we hope to welcome you to the campus.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, everyone who's been a part of this.
Bye.
It has been. Yeah, please, Jackie, go ahead.
No, I think we are all set here. Just want to say good night, and we will continue the conversation.
Thanks, everybody from the Katz School, and thanks, everyone, for being a part of this webinar. As I promised you, you give me one quick second, I'll find you the program link, and you can apply on upgradabroad.com. I'll give you the program link. Katz School, digital marketing. And meanwhile, I think I'd also implore you guys to look at Micah. Micah is one of the most sought after marketing schools in India, and I'm sure once you know about it, you'd love to pursue the best of both worlds. She was super famous in America, Micah super famous in India, two accredited, renowned state-of-the-art schools. And meanwhile, I'm giving you a link in your Zoom chat box. Well, there you go. Here it is. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for being a part of the webinar. I'm going to give you guys one quick minute, 60 seconds to copy this link and use this to apply. And I look forward. Yeah, Jared, you got it right. We all can see your screen, but that's the link. Yes.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.